Well, looky there. I'm live on Facebook again and on YouTube simultaneously. I'm finally out of jail. I'm a free man for a day or so till I piss them off again. You know why I piss them off? Because I say things that they don't like. And since we don't live in the United States of America anymore, we live in the People's Republic of America. If you don't like you, they get rid of you. So, hey, if you're watching me on YouTube, thank you very much. Please subscribe, hit the little bell, comment, and share this thing with your friends. If you're watching this on Facebook, follow me. I'd appreciate that. Share this with your friends, like and comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Say hi. I do appreciate everybody that jumps on. Look, I'm also on some of the other places. I'm loading everything on the Rumble. It takes a little bit longer to load. I can't go live on Rumble yet. I hope they get that eventually. But everything's on Rumble. Go follow me on Rumble, please. Go over to Rumble, watch a couple of my videos over there. If you ever want to rewatch one of my videos to say, did he really say that or something? And go to Rumble and watch it. Don't go to YouTube. Go to Rumble, watch it there. And then hit the like button. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not monetized on any of these platforms, except Rumble will monetize anybody that puts a video up. So why not promote Rumble the most, right? I don't make any money. I still haven't made any money. I'm not trying to make any money. It's just a way for me to express my opinion. Some of y'all like to watch me express my opinion. Some of y'all are on here trolling already, and I haven't even said anything yet. Troll, he lost. Get over it. Biden's your president. Shut up. You know, for 4 years, we listened to you all cry. It's our turn now. And by the way, the Chiefs did win, so welcome to the Super Bowl. Let's see here. This is my, that's my Parler. Nope, that's my MeWe account. Parler, if they ever come back up, I liked Parler. Just didn't come. I'm on Telegraph. I haven't figured out. I have to even tell you how to find me there. I'm on Gab. I'm still figuring that one out. I'll get it out, figured out next few days and get those links to you too. But I'm trying to spread myself around because, well, the socials, they're out there being good socialists and trying to take any other point of view down than that which is authorized by them. Anyways, this is Mike Cook, the Patriot. I need to pull that off. Mike Cook, the Patriot, coming to you live from Central Missouri. It is approximately 8:22 a.m. on 1/25/21, the year everything changes. And by everything, I mean everything. I believe God's going to move in a mighty way. I don't know that Trump's going to do anything. I don't know the military's going to save us. I don't know some grand number 17 conspiracy. I was kind of had my hopes up there for a little bit that something would blow this whole thing up, but here we are in the People's Republic of America. That's why I have my flag. I know some of you are upset that I have that flag. You think I should put Old Glory back up there. But let me tell you something. On the 6th, America died. The Constitution ended. They're no longer following the Constitution. The rules only apply to those who choose to follow them. What difference does it make? The Republicans are right now, they're sending out, I've got maybe 36 emails from the RNC and various other candidates saying, we need to win in 2022. Send us money and we will stop the Democrats. You haven't stopped them yet. You haven't even tried. You just go along with whatever they say. You know, for 2 years, we had the House, we had the Senate, and we had the president. And you RNC guys did nothing. You fought this president. You fought this president every step of the way. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mitch McConnell. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mitt Romney. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Tom Cotton, and the rest of you jokers. You done nothing. And now you want us to give you money? You want us to support you? For what? It's impossible for you to do anything now. And if it was possible for you to do anything, you wouldn't do it. You're a bunch of sellouts, a bunch of traitors. Never again will I vote for a Republican. I might vote for an individual that happens to be a Republican because I'll probably vote for Josh Hawley if they don't kick him out of the Congress or the Senate or wherever he's at. Senator, I believe. But I won't vote for a Republican. I had a Republican friend of mine was arguing on Facebook the other day because he's Republican. And he's a never Trumper because he's Republican. He said, you're just going to let the Democrats win. You're damn right. I'd rather have a traitorous, socialist, Marxist, bastard Democrat as my enemy standing in front of me than a traitorous, socialist, Marxist, Republican acting as my friend stabbing me in the back. There, I said it. Ode to the great one. So as you're jumping on, say hi, share this video with your friends. I'm finally back on Facebook. I do appreciate everybody jumping on. If you're watching on YouTube, how you doing? How you doing? So I want to talk a little bit about the happenings over the weekend, what's been going on, what's been happening, how the left is consolidating power and prepared to destroy America from within. And they're giddy and excited about it. First of all, we all know that I don't want to call him President Biden. Faux President Biden, for now, see if that sticks, passed an edict that you have to wear a mask on federal property all the time. And then there was this. Why would President Biden go out to federal land without a mask after mandating by executive order everybody wears a mask? Well, he was celebrating, and we have bigger things to worry about. You know what that equals? What that says is that all animals are equal, just some are more equal than others. If you don't know the reference, go read Animal Farm. So that came out. And over the weekend, this stuff was busting all over the conspiracy websites and all this stuff. And I'm putting this up here because I want to point something out. Okay, so what they're saying is that all of a sudden, Joe Biden went from left-handed in the picture, a few years ago. That's him with the brown suit on, and he's signing with his right hand. And then if you look at him in the blue part here, that's him signing with his left hand. And they're saying, what happened? How did he switch? But I want to point something out to you. If you take a look at the picture where he's in the blue and he's got his mask on, and he's signing with his left hand. If you take a look at that picture right there, if you look to his left, your screen right, his left, you'll see the stack of the executive orders that he's been signing. If you watch any of those videos, those executive orders are on the other side. Someone has flipped this picture in order to make it look like he's changed hands. That is a bogus picture, just on that part alone. Now, if you look in the background, there's some weird stuff in the picture in the background, and you could question that, I'm sure. But I digress. We won't get into the conspiracy theories right now. I just wanted to point out that picture right there that's going around the interwebs is bogus. It's not real. Did he switch hands? I watched the video. He was signing with his right hand. I don't know. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, okay? But then there's this one, which is a comparison of him a few years ago to today. And there are close to today anyways. The man has degenerated. I mean, it is shocking, the difference. And now they're saying that his signature is different. Okay, my signature is different than a few years ago too. It evolves. I'm not going to say that's a grand conspiracy. What I am going to say is what they're doing to this man is just wrong. This man who's sitting in the seat as POTUS, they're just using him. The people that are actually in control. And I hope you all got a good cup of coffee because I'm sure needing one. It is really a shame what they're doing to this man. And I don't believe that he's in charge of anything. I think he's just being told what to do and they're walking him through the process. It really is a shame. It really is. I don't wish, I watch my father as he's suffering from dementia. I don't wish this on anyone. This is a terrible, 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 especially for a healthy person otherwise. It's terrible. It's not pretty. And we're going to watch it, I think, on a national scale now. But I digress. That is a terrible picture right there. The other one is bogus. So what's going on? What's really interesting to me is all of the leftist, socialist, Marxist dreams that they're shoving down our throats. And people are starting to wake up and realize, and we're going to just talk a little bit about this. So one of the things is, after inaugural rhetoric of unity, Biden signs a divisive transgendered executive order. Trans, A, B, C, D, Q, R, S, T, U, V, whatever it is. So what does it mean? It means boys who identify as girls must be allowed to compete in girls' athletic competitions. Men who identify as women must be allowed in women-only spaces. Healthcare plans must pay for transgendered procedures, and doctors and hospitals must perform them. Doctors and hospitals must perform them. Must. What does it make you when the government demands that you must perform a service? Makes you a slave. You're not a free man. If the government can demand that you must, and you have no choice, then you're not free. What this really spells is the end of girls and women's sports as we know them. It'll be average men in men's sports competing in women's sports because men are made different than women, whether you like it or not. Men will dominate in women's sports, and there won't be any reason for women to compete in women's sports. You just have a bunch of weird dudes competing in women's sports. And of course, no child should be told the lie that they are trapped in the wrong body, especially as a child. We don't allow a child to make those kind of decisions. We don't allow children to make any kind of decisions. That's what they have parents for. Some parents need to go to jail for the way they treat their children. They're trapped in their wrong bodies, and adults should not pump them full of puberty-blocking drugs and cross-sex hormones. You see, we're making decisions for our children. Look, if a person is 18 years old, declared by the government to be an adult, and they want to have a cut a dick off of me or add a dick to me, and I'm not paying for it, and I don't have to be involved, and I don't have to look at it, go for it. You know, whatever perversion you want. But we can't take these children and give them these drugs that are going to alter the rest of their lives when they're not even old enough to make a decision, understand a decision that's being made for them. What happens when they're 25 years old and they decide that they wanted what was removed, that they wanted what was taken away from them, chemically or otherwise? But you've removed that choice from them. It's all about choice, isn't it? Well, don't they have a choice? But they're not old enough to make that choice yet. They're completely influenced by their caregivers. And this is where we stand today. These are the laws that are being passed because reasons, I guess, not science. Science has nothing to do with this. You're a science denier. Well, you know, science is about observable things that can be proved, isn't it? At least that's what I've always been told. I mean, I believe in faith. I believe in God, substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But I do know that when I look down, I'm a boy, not a girl. Observation. It's pretty evident. I guess some people need a little more splaining than that. I don't know. But moving on from that subject to a new subject. Pete Buttigieg, speaking of transgendered, is very, very excited about the proposition of taxing the miles you drive. I'm not going to get into the whole story because right now they haven't passed any laws because they couldn't do that on an executive order. It'd have to go through Congress. But I'm sure Congress right now is writing the bill and they're giddily excited because they got to come up with trillions and trillions of dollars for all the spending they want to do. Yes, and for all the spending they want to do to foreign governments. Why? Because Joe Biden has set up a new foundation, just like the Clinton Foundation, which is the for sale sign. I'm for sale. And that way they could say, oh, we're giving $1 billion to Zirkakistan. And Zirkakistan says, oh, I'm going to donate $200 million to your foundation. 10% for the big guy. That's right. And we need to figure out how to get some more money, squeeze blood out of that turnip that they call American people. So let's tax their miles. I have a friend of mine. I was just on the phone with him this morning, and I was telling him about the tax your mile thing. And he's like, dude, I drove 40,000 miles last year. And I said, yeah, just imagine that, $1 or $2 a mile. He goes, he's a farmer, you know, cattle farmer, stuff like that. He goes, I'd be out of business. That just wouldn't work. And I said, well, I'm sure they'll exempt them hybrid cars. He says, I can't haul cattle with a hybrid car. I said, put some more solar panels and windmills on it. You'll be fine. These people, but you know, they're going to make sure gas prices go through the roof so everybody will want to buy a hybrid car. It'll be great. Just can't wait. And let's see what else he did. Well, he rescinds the Trump order banning the Chinese communist involvement in the U.S. power grid. I don't see that going bad at all, because China, they love us and they want only good things for the people of America, just like they do for the Uyghurs. China wouldn't want any ill will come towards us or anybody else, would they? Peace and love and harmony. Just like Hong Kong. They're spreading all kinds of peace and love and harmony in Hong Kong, and they want to do the same for the United States of America. So I'm sure China messing with our power grid is not a big deal at all. None whatsoever. And then, you know, there's the pipeline people, the unions. United Association of Union Plumbers and Pipe Fitters endorses President Joe Biden, August 17, 2020. Keystone XL decision will raise energy costs for American families. They're very upset that he revoked this. And one of the conversations I saw, they said, well, didn't you vote for this guy? And they said, yeah, but, you know, and they said, well, he said he was going to do this. And they said, well, but, you know, politicians don't always do what they say. Well, this guy did. And now you're screwed and out of a job. But don't worry, because the Biden administration has come out and said you can get another job. And they're going to make it $15 an hour guaranteed minimum wage. It'll be great. So you could get another job. You don't have to work in the oil fields. You know, you could become an artist or a painter, or you could chase down you could get on welfare. And then you could do anything you want to do. You could go back to school. It'd be great. I know you was making $100,000 a year as a pipe fitter, but those jobs are dirty. You get a clean job somewhere, you know. You could be a janitor at the Capitol or something, because, you know, those jobs open up all the time. And besides, Nancy Pelosi, she's got plenty of ice cream to share, so it'll be all right. Just, we're fine. Don't worry about it. Let's see, Biden is also reversing the executive order put in place by President Trump to reduce the price of insulin and how do you say that? Epinephrine. Forget me trying to pronounce these words, but this is I'm a redneck hillbilly with no education, so get over it. This is not a partisan issue. This will harm America. Oh my goodness, he's raising the price of insulin. It's Big Pharma's fault. No, actually, this is totally Joe Biden's fault and those around him that are making him do this, because I really don't think he has any idea what he's doing. He's just signing stuff, you know. Here, sign this. Okay, what am I signing? I don't know. Really, I think, you know, if I went to my dad at the nursing home and I said, Dad, sign this, he'd sign it. That'd be the end of that. I think that's what they're doing to him. It's really a shame. It's terrible. But they raised the price of insulin, so people like my mother, who's a diabetic, their insulin is going to go through the roof. But that's okay, because government will subsidize it. Because raising the price of insulin is the same reason they canceled the Keystone Pipeline, because they have very rich people contributing to their campaigns and their foundations. You see, because the Keystone Pipeline transfers a lot of oil from Canada, but so does the Burlington Northern, which is owned by Warren Buffett. Oh, imagine that. Isn't that amazing? And of course, it's Democrats that own the production of insulin, Democratic donors. So when the price goes up, well, they get more donations. Then this one came out, Black Lives Matters. I'm starting to get the feeling Democrat Party used us. Really? You don't say. Gee whiz. They don't give a rip about you. I can prove it. Drive through downtown Baltimore. Drive through Detroit. Drive through San Francisco and LA. And all the other places that Democrats have used. And tell me they care about you. Tell me to Democrats that Black lives do matter. $2 billion raised by Black Lives Matter in 2020 all went to Act Blue. It didn't help any black lives. They weren't in the inner city starting programs for youth so they wouldn't be shooting each other in the streets at night. No, it was donated to the Bernie Sanders campaign, the Joe Biden campaign, the Kamala Harris campaigns, Elizabeth Warren campaigns. $2 billion. It's a lot of money. I wonder where it came from. Because by donating it to Black Lives Matter and then to Act Blue, which is a pact, it's not subject to a lot of the campaign finance laws. 10% for the big guy. This is kind of a funny right here. Biden's were reportedly waiting outside of the White House on Inauguration Day because Trump sent the staff home. I don't know if that's true, but I hope it is because that's freaking hilarious. Because one thing Donald Trump was, whether you liked him or hate him, he was troll in chief. That's for sure. That guy knew how to troll people like there's no tomorrow. I'm going to miss that. He might still be around trolling people, though. I'm just saying. We might see some more of that. President Biden is perhaps the most religiously observant commander-in-chief in half a century. BS. Anyways, a different, more liberal Christianity grounds his life and policies. Religious? Maybe so. Christian? Not on your life. He is anti-Christian, anti-Christ. He's not the anti-Christ, but he is anti what Christ stood for. Christ didn't want us to kill millions of babies because of convenience. Christ didn't want us celebrating the abomination of what he created in the man and the woman. I know I'm stepping on some of your toes and I apologize. Not really. He is not a Christian man, although he goes through the motions. You will know man by his fruit. And the other thing it says right here, a liberal Christianity, which is not Christianity at all. It's New Ageism wrapped up in Christian clothes. President Joe Biden's non-doctrinaire Catholicism, they got to make this stuff up, is driving comparisons to Pope Francis, who is vax traditionalist U.S. bishops, much in the way Biden has. Non-doctrinary Catholicism. Now, I don't know a lot about Catholicism. I'm not a Catholic and I don't play one on TV. I know there are some God-fearing, great people who are Catholic. But how can you be non-doctrinal Catholic? That's like saying that I'm a Baptist, but I don't believe in the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Then you're not a Baptist. It's just that simple. You're something else. You may attend a Baptist church, but Baptist you are not. And you may show up at a Catholic mass from time to time, Mr. President, Mr. Faux President. But Catholic you are not if you don't believe what the Catholics believe. And just for the fun of it, to break the monotony, another meme of the Bernie Sanders sitting on his bench, and I tell you, they're fantastic. These memes, they are absolutely fantastic. Oh my goodness! And then I saw this painting of Trump painting about to reveal something new, and I thought it was phenomenal. I think it's just really classy. So anyways, I saw those things. I thought I'd throw them in and break up the monotony. Now, I want to read something for you. So I believe firmly that God is not done yet. I believe firmly that God will not let this stand. I believe firmly that this election was stolen. We all saw it. Not only did I see it and I know it, but you saw it and you know it. And you trolls that are trolling right now, you know it's true too, but you don't care because your guy won and Orange Man bad, which is fine. I get it. No problem. But you want to know who else knows it? They know it. They know it. That's why they're panicking. They know it. That's why they're holding a trial to remove a president from the United States who is no longer president, but a private citizen, which is completely unconstitutional. But then again, there is no constitution anymore. It died. They severed it. They destroyed it. They took and they wiped their rear ends with it and ended it on the 6th. The Constitution is over. We no longer live in the constitutional republic. We live in something else. It will soon be democratic socialism, which is communism with balloons and stuff. That's why I have the flag. We are in the People's Republic of America, or something like that. A hybrid between China and the United States. That's where we're at right now. There is no constitution. Understand, these people don't believe in God. So if they don't believe in God, then your inalienable rights that were granted by God, which include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, don't exist because there is no God to grant them. Along with that, your Bill of Rights, your First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, and so on, do not exist. Because they are granted by God, who doesn't exist, because these people don't believe God exists. They are a God among themselves. So will they immediately put bills forward to ban the ownership of guns? I believe, yeah, why not? There's no constitutional authority to stop them. Nothing. They could do anything they want to do. They could pass anything they want to pass. I heard someone say Congress might as well go home. Joe Biden could do all this with executive order, and he can, because if nobody stops him, what difference does it make? If he signs an executive order tomorrow that says all guns are banned and all right-wing conservative Baptists need to go to re-education camps to get their heads right, and no one stands up in opposition, it's law. What are you going to do about it? But I firmly believe that the God of the universe, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Moses, the God who has moved from time to time with world-changing miracles, will not allow these evil people who stole this election to stand. I don't know when, I don't know how. It could be today, could be tomorrow, next week, next year. It could be 4 years from now. I don't know. But something is coming. And God is dissatisfied. These are words from Kim Clement. Dissatisfied with what this country is producing as leadership. I firmly believe that. So I start in my Bible study time. I start at the beginning when it says in the beginning, and I read all the way to the end where it says, if you take out of this book or put in this book, right? So the beginning to the end. And then when I get to the end, I start over and start the beginning. So that's where I'm at. I'm now in Exodus. And today, this is what I read in my Bible. Okay? And I want you to understand, according to the prophets, according to Kim Clement, according to people who studied under Kim Clement, according to other prophets, they're all aligned in saying that we are in a time such as a Red Sea moment. Okay? A time such as, not exactly, God's not going to do the exact same thing, but such as. They also are saying that we're in a Ezekiel time, which is an interesting metaphor. But we're not going to go there. I'm going to read you what I read this morning. It says, Then the Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp in how do you say that word? Hydorts. Hey, I didn't name these places. Between Migdol and the sea. And there they encamped by the sea, directly opposite of Baal Zephon. Pharaoh will think, The Israelis are wandering around the land, confused, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. I had a preacher down at the Winton Road Church of God in Grice in Columbus, Georgia, used to say, if God hardens your heart, who softens it? Excuse me while I take a drink. If God hardens your heart, who softens it? And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and his army. And the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, so the Israelites did this. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their services. I mean, who's going to make the bricks?" So he had his chariots made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of his best chariots along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. The Lord hardened the hearts of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen and troops pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea near Phia Hydorts is how you say that, or close to it anyways, opposition of Baal Zephon. As Pharaoh approached the Israelites and looked up, as Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them, and they were terrified, and they cried out to the Lord, and they said to Moses, "Was it because there was no graves in Egypt that you brought us out to this desert to die? What have you done by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm." Where have I heard that before? Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord will bring you, the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. The Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff, stretch your hand over the sea and divide the waters so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go after them. I will gain glory through Pharaoh and his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, and when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." The angel of God who had been traveling in front of Israel's army withdrew and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud also moved from the front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Throughout the night, the cloud brought darkness to one side and light to the other, so neither went near the other all night long. Moses stretched his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, and the wall, on dry ground with a wall of water on the right and on the left. The Egyptians pursued them, and Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire of cloud at the Egyptian army and threw them into confusion. He jammed their wheels of the chariots so that they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, "Let us get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and their horsemen." Moses stretched his hand out over the sea, and at daybreak, the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and the entire army of Pharaoh. that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived, but the Israelites went through the water on dry ground with a wall of water on their left and on their right. That day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shores. And when the Israelites saw the mighty hand of God displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in him and Moses his servant. May the Lord have blessing on the reading of his word. God didn't tell them he was going to part the Red Sea. He only told them to get there. He didn't tell them that he was going to flood Israel, the Egypt army, and destroy all of it, taking the superpower of Egypt at the time down with it, changing the world order of things. He didn't tell them what his plan was. He only told them to go. And at the last minute, he told them to walk across the sea on dry ground because he parted the waters. He told them to be still and wait on the Lord. The Egyptians were barreling down on it by their eyes. It was over. They couldn't fight the Egyptians. It would be like going up against an M1 main battle tank with a Peace shooter. There's no hope. You're going to lose. But God said, no, I got other plans. See, because God is bigger than Egypt, and God is bigger than Joe Biden, and God is bigger than Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer and all their schemes. And I don't know what's going to happen. Boy, it would have been a glorious day if all of a sudden all this stuff came out and these people just fell from their own weight. It would have been a glorious day if that happened before the inauguration. But you see, Moses didn't save the people. The Israeli army didn't save the people. God did. In a way, only God could. Moses couldn't part the Red Sea. The Israelites couldn't part the Red Sea. It was only God. And the whole world heard about it. Egypt honored God after that. Israel honored God after that. When Israel got up to Palestine, and not Palestine as we call it today, but back then it was called Canaan. When they got up there, all of the societies around there had heard about what the Lord God of Israel had done to the Egyptians. And they were fearful. God put the Egyptian army into confusion and fear. Let me tell you something. There is a fear in this government right now, a fear of something that they can't explain. They're taking it and hashing it out on Trump. That's why they're going to have this trial, this show trial, this mock trial that has no authority at all constitutionally, cannot really do anything. But they got to do something because they're scared of something coming. They brought in 65,000 troops for the inauguration because they're scared of something. They don't know what that something is, but there's massive fear in this government of something. And I'll tell you right now, that fear is the fear of God. God has given them a fear of what's coming next. And as well, they should fear it. Because when you poke God in the eye, when you deny God's existence, when you say, I am God, and there's none other than me, ask Nebuchadnezzar, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to be caught up in the hand of a vengeful God. Whether or not you believe is irrelevant to me because I believe. And I don't care if you don't believe. So as you're trolling right now and you're saying, oh, there's no God, he's not going to be, whatever. I don't care. Because it's my belief. You don't have to believe. But I have a feeling in the very near future, you're about to see the glory of God as he reveals himself to the world in a way he hasn't done in thousands of years. If you want to know this God that I know, He's there for you. You got to ask. It says, knock and you shall find, or knock and the door will be open. Seek and you shall find. I can't quote you Bible verses, chapter and verse. I'm dyslexic. I get all that mixed up. But I know that the Lord Jesus died on the cross and rose again on the third day to give me hope for salvation if I only accept it. He doesn't ask you to fill in a lot of blanks. He doesn't ask you to say some magic prayer. You have to pray this way and do these things and light this candle. He doesn't tell none of that. What he asks you is to believe in your heart and confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, that God has raised him from the dead, and you shall be saved. There's no other. The rest of it, God will work out with you. Work out your faith through fear and trembling. Believe in your heart, confess your mouth, the Lord Jesus, that God has raised him from the dead, and you shall be saved. So wherever you're at, if you got tattoos and nose rings and earrings and hair all crazy, if you're not like me, you're in a business suit and tie, wherever you're at, whoever you are, that's who you are. God doesn't care. Those steps is all it takes. So if you want to do that, do it. Then reach out. Comment on this feed right now. There's people on this feed right now that'd be glad to talk to you. Because, we're only here for a moment, a second. Solomon says we're but a vapor, but a flower in a field that the sun comes up, you wither and die. 80, 90, 100 years max. That ain't very long. You'll be forgotten just like the rest of us. And my phone rings right in the middle of it. Time to end. Time to end. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to finish with the phone ringing. Forgot to take it off the hook. You guys have a great day. I'm going to get off here. I've done my part. Enjoy the day. Keep your eye to the sky because something big is coming, and I don't know what it is. Let the Lord God reign in your heart. I'm not trying to give you any hopeism, but there is hope in Jesus Christ, no matter what. You guys have a great day. Hey, share the video. Talk to y'all later.